Hello everybody, I'm Richard Holder, and as always, welcome to the channel. Today we're looking at the M90 Supercharger, and we're going to throw the kitchen sink at it. That's right, every test I have ever run on an M90 Supercharger on an LS motor is right here, right now. I'm talking about everything. We're talking about just putting the blower on, the big mistake I made on the first test. We're talking about different pulleys. We're talking about E85. We're talking about a ported blower. We're talking about intercoolers. We're talking about different cylinder heads, different camshafts, different headers, you name it. I've tested and it's right here, right now. Okay guys, before we can talk about all the cool modifications on the M90, we're going to take a look at both 4.8 and 5.3 because I've run it on both of those. We need to go back to the beginning where I made a huge mistake and declared that this little V6 blower is not big enough for an LS V8. It won't supply enough airflow or enough power for the V8, and this is why, and here are the mistakes that I made. So we put together a 4.8 liter, basically a stock LR4, it had the little forged pistons in it, 706 heads, had a Holley high ram, had a BTR torque cam in it. We had long tube headers on it. We ran it with a Holley, and it made 375 horsepower and 344 foot-pounds of torque. Then we installed the M90, and it made less power than NA. It made 314 horsepower and 298 foot-pounds of torque, and there are three reasons why it did this. One of them a huge mistake on my part. Actually, all of these were. First of all, I used an early M90 and not a Gen 5 blower, which is a better blower. We equipped it with a stock 3.8-inch pulley, which was designed to feed the 240 horsepower V6 because the amount of airflow that the blower will support is in direct relation to how fast you're spinning the blower relative to the motor. And then the other big problem that I had that I didn't realize until after this test was over is the way that I had this hooked up with a stock throttle body and no TPS hooked up to the Holley HP management system, this thing pulled a bunch of timing out, like 8 or 9 degrees. And so we didn't even give this combination a chance with the blower because of those mistakes. Now let's take a look and see what happens when I actually did the testing correct after proclaiming to everybody this blower is too small. In reality, it's not. Before we get to the rest of the results, I wanted to show you very quickly, while I had this blower, the M90, on the dyno, and we were comparing on the 4.8 liter where it didn't make any power, one of the things I did do is say, hey look, I'm going to make more power than the NA motor. And what we did was we added nitrous to this thing. And here's what happened when we added nitrous to it with the blower. Yay, we made more power than NA. Peak power, if we take a look at the 450 horsepower, but actually it was much closer to 444 or so. And you could see lots more torque too. The spike up here, 479 foot-pounds. And this is what nitrous does. This was a nitrous express kit, single fogger setup, and it made a lot of power. We added 128 horsepower with the nitrous, so it was a pretty big gain with just a 52 nitrous jet. Now let's take a look at the rest of the mods. Okay guys, once we figured out that I had made some mistakes were made on the first 4.8 liter test, I did a retest and thought, you know what, I'm going to give this thing a fair shake. So we put together another 4.8. This one did not have forged pistons. It was a stock bottom end, stock intake manifold, or rather a stock cylinder head. We did have springs in it, but we had a BTR, this time a Truck Norris NSR camshaft. We had the high ram on there, long tube headers, the way that we do it. This thing make 375 horsepower and 328 foot-pounds of torque. But here's what happened when we added the M90 Supercharger with the 3.8-inch pulley. And you can see we actually made more power than we did NA. So we picked up about 10 to 12 horsepower, let's say, over the NA once we had enough timing in it. Still the 3.8-inch pulley, still with the high ram. And then we picked up, you know, some decent torque gains down low. But I want to show you also now what happens when we spin this blower faster, because putting more pulleys on there or changing the pulley to change the speed of the blower, definitely a time-honored tradition. Here's what happened when we put a 3-inch pulley on there. So we picked up a bunch of power, picked up about 53 horsepower, going from a 3-inch to a 3.0 pulley, a 3-inch pulley, going from a 3.8 to a 3.0, and then to a 2.6. Picked up another 36 horsepower, and then finally what we did was we ran E85 on this thing. We picked up a lot of power with the E85. We picked up another 30 with the E85. We had also added 2 degrees of timing in addition to the E85. So Naturally, more boost and E85 on a supercharged motor, not surprisingly, good gains. Another interesting test we did with the 4.8 and the M90 is we installed a bigger throttle body. The more air you can get going into the blower, the more boost and the more power will come out. And we changed over from the stock throttle body on the entry of the M90 supercharger, and we adapted a 92 millimeter fast LS throttle body basically. And here's what happened. Our 4.8 was making with a 2.6 pulley 487 horsepower, 452 foot-pounds of torque. Here's what happened when we put our throttle body on there. We got big changes. I know you're gonna all get excited about the big changes down low. That had nothing to do with the throttle body. We also changed timing on this run, but we only changed timing below 5,000 RPM. So if we just focus on the power gains above 5,000 RPM, that's what's going on with the throttle body, because we also see a change in boost there. So we saw as much as 20 horsepower with just a change in throttle body, more air in, and more power out. During our testing on the 4.8 liter with the M90, we also compared two different cylinder heads and then also a different camshaft. In this case, we went from the 706 heads that this motor originally came with and tried 799 heads that I had taken off my L33. And you can see on the cylinder head combination, really not much to choose from there. Maybe a little bit of wiggle here and there, but essentially no change from the 706 to the 799 heads, and that's kind of been the case. The difference between those two is really kind of minimal, especially on a 4.8, and with the superchargers, it didn't seem to show very much. But what did show a big change was when we installed a different camshaft. So we replaced the BTR Truck Norris cam. I'll go ahead and get the rest of this a little bit easier to see. We replaced the BTR Truck Norris cam with a BTR Hot Rod cam. And the hot rod cam did make quite a bit more power on the top. You can see we went from 508 horsepower up to 524 horsepower. The bigger cam did trade power down here below 4,200, as we would kind of expect. So if you're looking at cylinder heads, just leave what you got on there, but the right camshaft makes a difference. Here's another interesting test we did on headers. So are headers worth anything on this M90 supercharged 4.8 liter? And the answer is yes, depending on which ones you choose. Westech had a set of 1 3/4, basically, you know, kind of racy dyno headers that they use just so that they fit around everything. They look like sprint car headers. And then we ran those with 1 3/4 headers, and the dyno headers produced 525 horsepower and 487 foot-pounds. And here's what happened when we replaced those with 1 7/8 headers, which are normally the headers that we would run on the LS stuff. They're LS hooker swap headers, and then those also had collector extensions and even mufflers on them. And it made quite a bit more power with the other header combination, 537 horsepower and 491 foot-pounds of torque. So you can see they do respond to changes in headers. Okay, to finish up our M90 testing on the 4.8 liter, we're going to check out the 5.3 liter next, but finishing up on the 4.8, this is a typical kind of thing. This is where we started roughly NA around 375 horsepower, and the most power that we made with the M90 on the 4.8 liter was 537 horsepower and 491 foot-pounds of torque. So you can see the M90, and obviously we did other modifications. We did cams and headers and throttle bodies and all kinds of things to get more power out of the M90. Obviously we spun it up and put E85 in it. But this shows you kind of what the gains can be, and this is also with non-intercooler, but we do have that stuff coming up on the 5.3. Okay, we don't want to duplicate a lot of the testing that we did with the 4.8 on the 5.3 because we did do that. I ran a lot of similar tests on the 5.3. So let's take a look at some other things. And obviously the things that are important, we're going to check some pulley sizes. We're going to check E85. So let's start off. We have a 5.3 liter. This was an L33 aluminum motor. It had trick flow 220 heads on it. It had for this test, had an Elgin sloppy stage 1 camshaft in it. We had long tube headers on the Holley setup, you know, and we had the M90 supercharger on this, and we ran this thing on initially 91 octane pump gas and made 425 horsepower and 389 foot-pounds. Here's what happened when we stepped up to E85. So we did pick up quite a bit of power. We picked up like 27 horsepower or so. Peak power was up to 437. You can see big gains along the way. We also added some timing with the E85. Then we did what we always do. We changed from the 3.8-inch stock pulley on the M90 down to a 3-inch pulley to speed the blower up. Picked up a bunch of boost, 478 horsepower Peak torque checked in at 559 foot-pounds of torque. Then we put on the 2.6 pulley, added even more power, up to 493. Torque was way up at 498. You can see it looked like we were getting into some belt slippage issues or something here at the top. If you take a look at the torque down low, obviously big gains from changing pulleys, and always a good idea to run E85. For this test, our 5.3 was configured the same and had the trick flow heads, had an Elgin camshaft in it, had the high ram on it. And we ran an early M90 supercharger on it. We ran it fuel injected the way that we normally do, but then we installed this carbureted contraption that a buddy of mine welded up so that we could adapt the carburetor on top of there and have the carburetor blow through or feed through the top. We also ran one where the carburetor was feeding through the inlet of the blower where the throttle body is mounted. They both made similar power, but I just wanted to show you guys this because there's a lot of cool stuff here going on. So we ran this thing with the M90 on it. It made 425 horsepower and 389 foot-pounds. And then we added the blower with the carburetor on it. Remember, this is an early supercharger with a 3.8 pulley on it. Made 423 horsepower. You can see similar to the EFI setup, a little bit more power, obviously, with the carburetor. And then what I did was we stepped up the way that you always do. We changed the blower pulley on it, and we made a lot more power. A lot more boost, a lot more power. 490 horsepower and 498 foot-pounds. Still looks like we have some kind of pulley issue going on up here, maybe a little bit of belt slippage, but carbureted stuff actually works. Having run both the 4.8 and 5.3 with the supercharger, with a ton of different tests and a ton of different pulley sizes and different boost pressures, non-intercool, we decided, hey, it's time to add an intercooler to it. So we talked to the guys at TIC Performance who have great intercooler cores for LS applications, you know, for big turbo kind of combinations. And this core that they sent us was certainly good for more than 1,000 horsepower. So we were only utilizing a portion of it. The problem was also that the way that our supercharger, the discharge on the supercharger and the adapter plate on top of the high ram, we didn't have enough plenum volume between the adapter plate and the TIC intercooler. So we were only blowing all that air through a small portion of the intercooler, but it still gained power and it did drop the charge temperature quite a bit. So this is without the intercooler, and then this is with the intercooler. We gain, 10, 12 horsepower and 13 to 15 foot-pounds of torque. We lowered the charge temperature by about 60 degrees. And if we were running more airflow and running more boost on this thing, certainly we could take advantage of the intercooler, we could take advantage of everything that TIC intercooler really had to offer. Okay, guys, our final test on the 5.3 liter with the M90 was we sent the blower out to the guys at Jokers, and they did their porting on it, did a great job, made lots of power. So we'll take a look. We had our 5.3 combination with our TIC intercooler on there, and then what we did was we reinstalled the blower after getting it back from the guys from Joker, fully ported, so they did a good job. Here's what happened when we installed this was with our standard blower, or our slightly modified blower, because I had done some modifications to it. And then we had the guys from Jokers do the porting on it, and power jumped up from 615 up to 652. Please note we also pinned the crank before we did this. I don't think we were getting belt slippage before, but something to think about. Also, if you take a look, it looks like the porting also reduced low speed power. Not something I normally associate with having the blower ported, but the very cool thing is we take a look at this. I'm going to get rid of our smaller power output. Going to throw in our NA power output, and then you can kind of get an idea how far we came. We went from, 540 horsepower NA with the thing all popped up when it's a really, really good NA motor, but we made over 650 horsepower with, we basically threw the kitchen sink at the M90 fully ported and everything. So it just goes to show you the M90 can make a lot of power even on an LS. I'm Richard Holder. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that stuff, and I'll keep testing.